Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Happy Sunday. So rain, sleet, snow, sunshine. We birthday holiday. We still gonna remain accountable and keep rolling out our updates week to week on our health journey. As you can see behind me, I had an amazing Father's Day. My Father's Day started yesterday actually. My wife took me out. We stayed out and went to dinner and everything, and it was just amazing. Today, we continued and added the kids, and the dinner was amazing. Yesterday, I had some steak and some amazing broccolini. I had a 14-ounce ribeye that was about 100 grams of protein. So, I love that. Got a lot of walking in where we were. We were down in Center City, so we did here in the Philadelphia area where I live at. And, we kind of walked from where we stayed down to dinner and back. And so I got my steps in, you know what I mean, right before dinner. So, and right after. So, that was really good. Today, we got back and we grabbed the kids, and then we went back out, and I had a nice rotisserie chicken. And I had this some mixed vegetables that were also really, really good. So, and I think I didn't get the grams of protein, but I had a nice quarter piece of chicken. So I know I got good protein there. So, still able to kind of squeeze the journey into good times. You know what I mean? You can see right behind me, I had several nice gifts from the kids. They got me a cake with a photo. The photo is from last year. So if you can see here, I got my oldest on there along with the youngest and then my middle. So both Empress, who's 6, Greg, who's 14, and Anaya, who's 20, soon to be 21. So yeah, Father's Day was amazing. But as far as the update on the journey, today I actually, I always get on the scale twice just to ensure accuracy, and I got 2 different amounts, and I think 2 different weights, and I hadn't been taking my Marilac, so I think some of it was due to backup, but I did lose weight no matter what, which is good. I still dropped anywhere from, and I'm gonna say anywhere from because I got 2 different weights on there, from a half a pound to a pound. The lowest, I think it was 253.9, which would mean I lost 1.3 pounds. So we'll take it. And it said 254.6 or what have you. I was 255.2 last week. So anywhere from a half a pound to a pound is what I actually lost. And like I said, a loss is a loss. I said it before, I said it again. A loss is a loss. I'll take it. Obviously, I'm accustomed to losing, 3 pounds at a time, 3 pounds. But, even if I can get a half pound or a pound, I'm still moving in the right direction. And honestly, I think that, like people often mention, we don't put enough into the inches. I know I haven't. I haven't put really, I didn't dive into inches at all, in this journey. And I've lost a bunch. Not even just through pictures. And you can always go to my timeline and scroll through the posts that I put on here, because then you can see my foods that I'm eating. You can see updated pictures. And I do have a picture from today from 2 out of the 3 kids, my 6 and my 14-year-old at dinner. So you guys can go check that out. But yeah, like I said, just another great week. Being down 20.4% of my body weight. Like I said, that's what the trial says you'll lose through the entire journey. 72 weeks, and I've done it in 23 weeks now. So just shy of 6 months. So that's where we are. And we're gonna keep chucking away. I got still with today's weight, I got about 34 pounds that I am looking to still drop, because I would like to get under 220 and get out of the obese category. I'd like to go to the doctors and just get the overweight, not obese. And that'll, make all the difference in the world to me. Obviously, my lab work, I went over that a couple videos ago. That's the number one, thing that we look at is the lab work, because that's what it's really all about, to improve all of your health markers to where, you can feel comfortable, feeling like you're, healthy and maybe around longer. Anything can happen, but this is what you do to help yourself, especially if you got the kids actually, and family dependent on you. So like I said, I'm not going to be long tonight. We're not going to get a 20, 25-minute video. Just hopped on to do, a quick 10-minute video or so just to go over my week. It did get a little interesting this weekend because I had been seeing people, kind of post the things that the thermoses that they carry their medication in when they travel. And technically, I didn't have to carry my pen, but I did. And lo and behold, it's the first one I've ever ruined, and I did ruin a pen. I ruined a pen, and how I did it was I actually put it in the refrigerator there, and the refrigerator is set too cold, and the water, one of my waters froze, and I said, it had to affect my pen the same way. So I took my pen out, let it sit out. It didn't appear to be frozen. It seemed like it could be thick, but I wasn't sure. So that, I would say that night, a little later that night, I really looked really closely, and I studied my medication, and looking at it, I swear that I saw like a little teeny ice fragment, and that was it for me. I said, oh no, I'm not using that. 2 reasons. One, it's not effective if it's frozen because the insulin breaks apart if the medication is frozen, and it becomes not effective. And then it's dangerous because you're shooting possible ice into your veins. So no, we're not doing that. Or into subcutaneous fat. Either way, it's going inside of you. So I actually had to waste a pen, and that really bothered me because I know how expensive it is and how many people actually are desperate for the medication and at the cost that it is. But everybody makes mistakes, and that was my first mistake. And with the pen, and the first one that was wasted. I'm not too worried about it because I do have I took my second one, so I got home and took the other. That was the would have been the second pen out the box. So I still have 2 more pens. So well, technically, 2, because I basically took one last week. That was one that I actually that was my actual second. I think it was my second one out the box. So there's 4 in the box because that would have been the first of the 7.5. Because remember, I titrated from 10, so I have 4 in my box upstairs. So I'm not too worried. I have 2 pens I can take, and then by the time I'm done with the second one, I should be getting ready to get my new boxes. I'm usually about a week ahead, but I was actually having 1 additional. So now I won't have any additional, basically. So it is what it is. We all make mistakes. But I have 2 7.5s up there and 2 10s. So, but everybody know, based on last week, I titrated down from 10. And so far, so good. That fast heart rate, I haven't got it at all. And I actually slowed up on my muscle milk, which contained a lot of B6 and B12. And the 1-a-day men's Pro Edge, which had a massive amount of B6 and B12 in it. So, yeah, I've had none of that, and everything's been normal. So, I honestly can't 100% attribute it to the 10 milligram pen because I was also taking in a lot of that energy, or that B12 and B6. So I may go back to doing my muscle milk this week. And if I do, I'll be able to see if I get that increase in, heart rhythm. If I do, along with my vitamin, I'll know that it was probably that and not even the 10, So, so the 10 is still on the table. I still have 2. Like I said, I'm going to remain on 7.5, not 10, but I have 10 that I can use in the future if it's deemed that it's not something that increases the heart rate. But that'll be a while from now. Right now, I'm sticking to my 7.5. I'm gonna keep on, doing my walking and trying to just, lose. Obviously, I do my resistance training a couple times a week, but when you're really just trying to kind of get the pounds off, it's been shown that the walking, is what really does it. It's not so much the resistance training. Now, everybody's different. Everybody's biology may be different. But at least from what I'm seeing, I think that it's the walking that really gets that, those pounds moving. Because if you watch, and let me go back, because sometimes in my videos I'll go and then miss. I also wanted to make a point about inches, because I did talk about inches. And one big telltale sign for me was clothing, obviously. That's everybody's big telltale sign is the clothing, because that's something that for me that I always can kind of like really tell when it's not necessarily the scale. Is how loose fitting, some of my pants are. Because like I said, I went from a 44, 42 to a 38. possibly, maybe even 36, so with that, I'm thinking, you really probably would do yourself a service to really like go ahead and check those inches, so you have that kind of recording. I don't really have that because I never really was really big on the inches because I had like a good deal of weight to lose. And when you're looking at trying to lose 100 pounds, it seems so far away, and now being 65, almost 66 pounds down now, knowing I got 34 pounds to lose, it don't seem as far away, as it did. So you start to think about the little things, and one would be my ring. Like my ring, you can see it was really tight on me back in January. Now, I mean, this thing, it slides off. It literally slides off. It's crazy how it slides off, and it just, kind of spins on my finger. So, you can see that, but yeah, it's crazy. So that's definitely telling me, like, anytime I see somebody online, they be talking about, well, I'm gonna just stop the med because I lost all the weight. The thing that people cannot lose sight of is the inflammation that it reduces. It reduces inflammation by so much that I think that it's very, very, very dangerous to just like go ahead and come off of the medication like that, because we're really not giving the respect to the medication and what it's doing in your body for all the inflammation that we carry. Because that's really what some of that is. Obviously, we're losing nearly 70 pounds. I mean, a lot of it's that, but I had, in my opinion, a lot of inflammation, I think. So, because my first month, I lost 15 pounds, so I think that attributes to that. But yeah, that's kind of like what I wanted to say in regards to like that with the inches. But back to, what I was talking about before, I'm definitely grateful that, like I said, I've been able to like consistently lose. I'm mad that, that I was a waste of the pen, but, I learned, from that, and going forward, if I ever do decide to take my pen with me, I'll go ahead and make sure that I have it in a proper container, storing it the right way. Or if it's going to be a quick overnight thing, I'll just leave it out, because we can leave it out, But me, in my mind, I'm like, hey, I need mine to be refrigerated, until I'm ready to take it. So, and it was very interesting, like actually having to waste that pen, because I've never seen a pen without being excreted without actually going into my skin. So when I excreted it in the sink, it shot out like a missile. So I've never seen it, So when you twist the lock and hit that purple button, it's usually pressed up against your skin and you don't get to see it. It shot out like it shot in that sink. And I'm like, this is probably why sometimes you still get that little sting. Even when you let the medicine warm up and, let the alcohol dry and everything, like, well, it stung a little. It's because it's going in there rocket fast, and if you don't waste the pen, you won't see that. But I was like, wow, like how fast that it shot out that pen. It was amazing. Like, so, there's that. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to be on long. I just wanted to hop on for about 15 minutes and touch base, like I always do, talk about Father's Day, and, just tell you guys you can go ahead and, look back at some of the posts that I like to post on here, from food to current photos and things of that nature. And one thing I did want to leave the video with is, I was thinking about it, just watching some of the other videos sometime. And oftentimes what I hear about the hyper responders is, oh, don't worry about the, hyper responders, if you're, let's say a slow responder or average responder, because, they seem to do really well in the beginning and then things happen later. Well, my thing for that is, I think that we're all on a journey together, whether we are slow, average, or hyper. And I think everybody deserves their own space and respect for whatever is happening to them on the journey. What I would like us not to be is like the people on the outside, the GLP-1 people, that are pretty much, jealous because, the people that have great personalities that just had issues with their image and weight are able to lose weight now, and, there's no place for them. You don't want to become them, and be talking down on people because they're, hyper responder. Number one, hyper responders do sometimes, have more weight to lose. So it looks like, oh, wow, they lost a lot of weight because they had a lot to lose. But, there's more to it. It's how fast do you lose that weight? How quick do you lose that amount of weight? And honestly, I think it's more about the percentage and the consistency. If you could lose a certain percentage and do it consistently, that's what determines you being a hyper responder. Now, me being almost 21% of my weight down, I'm probably about 3% away from, what they consider just a flat out hyper responder, no matter when, how, or what happened. I'm just past the average category right now. But with the time span in which it has happened for me is what, I believe that makes it a hyper response, is because in less than 6 months, I've lost over 20% of my weight. And that's just straight Zepbound, no bariatric surgeries or anything of that nature. Like some have had bariatric surgery on top of, their pen and things of that nature. That's never happened. I don't have any of that kind of stuff. And I'm just straight pen, straight walking, eating the right way, and working out. So I just think that we should throw some respect on all walks. Whether you're hyper, slow, average, who cares? We're all here fighting to actually get as healthy as we possibly can. But I do get that slickness that comes from people that are hyper. Oh, they're hyper, but don't worry, slow. If you just do it slow and steady, that's the way. Every way is the way. Any way that you decide to get on this journey and have the courage to go when speaking to your provider that, hey, I need to do something, and you do it, you deserve a pat on the back. And I don't care how you're doing it, just as long as it's safe. If you're doing it the safe way, more power to you. And congratulations. It doesn't matter if you're hyper or slow, and the best way is the way that keeps going. You know what I mean? And the people that actually are hyper responders are seeing, great results. Yeah, sometimes if it slows down, it can get daunting. But hey, for slow responders, have been daunting the whole time. So if it's daunting for a hyper responder for a certain pace or a certain moment, that's fine. You know what I mean? That don't mean they're going to stop, because I know I'm not. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. I have no plans on that. Anything can happen, but I have no plans on it. And I'll leave that there, not to go too far into the weeds, but I'm just hearing it forever. Like, oh, well, those hyper responders, it's almost like you deserve a punishment because you're hyper and I'm slow, or I'm average, or whatever, you know what I mean? And, so since I'm slow, I need to be coddled and given a gift, the special privilege or special pat on the back because, to keep me motivated. No, motivate everybody. Everybody deserves motivation because it's hard for all of us to live life and be able to get this done. It's very hard for everybody. I don't care, whether it's coming off slow, fast, or whatever. Doing all of this is not easy, and it becomes a part of your life. And to make it a part of your life, you have to sacrifice a lot of things. Number one, your time, but it's worth it. It's worth it because it's your health. So that's it. I mean, that's my tangent on that. I just wish people would just congratulate people for their journey for whatever, however, and, however it's going, and leave that at that. So that's all. So yeah, I would like, for you guys to continue to send people, my way. And I'll mention, really quickly last, I'm going to post a book by Dr. Fung that really goes into the intermittent fasting, because I did have a few questions after my previous videos, about that, because, it's him and another lady that her name escapes me, but they really go into diving in how, weight loss isn't calories in, calories out. That's old school. So counting calories is not as helpful as one might think, because when you depend on calories in, calories out to decrease weight, what often happens is you have to continue to decrease. So intermittent fasting is something that is in my opinion a better way. And I've done it along the way, and I'm proof of it. It really does work. I don't count calories at all, because at the end of the day, I pretty much eat the same thing. I literally eat the same stuff all the time. I already know what the calories are. So that's not going to help me at all counting calories. So I'm more of an intermittent faster. I eat. I've been wrote off breakfast, quite a while ago. I drink a lot of water in the morning. And then once I get to about 1, 2, that's when I start my eating, Every now and then I'll switch it up, because even with intermittent fasting, you want to reverse it sometimes. And I'll go eat early and don't eat late, And what I mean late is past 7, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, I'm pretty much done anyway, 8:30 at the latest. So I have all of that time to burn, any old way. Because the most burning you do is overnight in your sleep, and throughout that early morning when you're moving and hustling and bustling, especially if you work out empty. So I really think that intermittent fasting should be looked into, and I'm going to actually post that book up in here. That people that are interested, you do whatever works for you. But I'm saying if you especially these people that's in the store that haven't seen the scale move, try a little bit of intermittent fasting. And I think it would help you, because I think that we worry that if we don't, if we go one day without eating, and you just drinking fluids, something's going to happen to you. That should only happen when you're sick. And it is just not true. It's just not true. It actually becomes easier and easier the more you do it. I'm actually in a 6-hour window now. I usually eat anywhere between 2, 3, and 8 o'clock. That's it. I don't eat nothing after 9, nothing before pretty much 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So, and I drink, like I said, a lot of fluids, and you'll see all my protein and everything, and I'm not missing any meals. I get all of mine. But you definitely should look at intermittent fasting for everybody that's on that stall that can't seem to get it going, because just counting your calories and calories in, calories out, and then working out until you almost to exhaustion, that's not going to get you that far either, because you don't burn that many calories working out. But working out, resistance training is more about body comp. Get your body looking right, and it helps you to be feel good and flexible. But as far as weight loss, and we just talking about weight loss, the movement comes from intermittent fast. Because even though walking is the best, I feel like for the weight to come down off of you, it's still a limit. Intermittent fasting is the #1 key that I think, just personally, just me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm just telling you what worked for me. You can look into doctors, because everything I'm saying to you is from me watching doctors, not just average Joe Blows on the internet. And these are the doctors who are world renowned for it. That's been doing this for years, So I really dived into them. And look at this. I said it wasn't going to be a long video, and here I am, just going on and on because I get passionate about it. So I'm going to just cut myself off right there and now. So I hope that you guys, take a look at the posts that I put up there. If you know anybody, male, female, whatever, that is looking to start GLP-1 journey, please direct them to my page, and so they can like and subscribe. Hope you are subscribers and you like what you see here. You can always send me questions and put stuff in the comments that you might want to talk about. I'm thinking about diving more into the whole intermittent fasting thing and some of the topics that come up, and specifics and like what I do, so people can really kind of dive into that if they like. But it definitely works. If that scale's not moving, start fasting. All right. So like I always like to let everybody know, we're in it together. Later.